The 49ers historically have had really good linebackers come and play for this franchise. I mean, for the past decade and a half, the 49ers have had zero problems at the position. And this year is no different. They're pretty solid. We all know who the starters are, but I still want to dive in at the position because the true question is who would be the backups for these starters. That is just as important as who plays at the start of the game. You need to know who the backups are, especially in football. So let's take a closer look at the 49ers linebackers. And it's funny how this whole group kind of shaped up. The 49ers have quietly built a very stable linebacker room, and it was all John Lynch and company who drafted or signed these players. Of course, the first name that comes to mind is Fred Warner, who was drafted back in 2018 and was an immediate starter. He was quickly, and I mean very quickly, helped us forget about Reuben Foster. Yeah, remember him? Not sure what Reuben Foster is up to these days. I think as of recently, the Redskins cut Foster, so I don't think he's employed at the moment. But when I first started my YouTube career in this, on this very channel, a lot of my videos were on him, and a lot of them weren't very positive ones because he was always getting into some trouble. Well, that's past us now. But the point is, Fred Warner has turned into a star in this league and one of the best young linebackers in the NFL. And making the Pro Bowl is the next step in his career. This past year, Warner elevated his game, causing turnovers with forced fumbles and the great pick six against the Rams. That was nice. Oh yeah, and he also gets after the quarterback when his number is called. So really, I can't thank John Lynch and staff enough for bringing Warner to this team. If you're in the market for a jersey and already have a Nick Bosa and a George Kittle jersey, you might want to invest in his. I love Warner, currently one of my favorite Niner players. And with that, we also have to talk about Kwon Alexander, who a lot of people sort of questioned this signing early on last year. He had a case of an ACL injury, and you know how this fan base gets triggered when we hear ACL. But Kwon, to his credit, came up. He was electric. He changed the culture. He helped, believe it or not, shape up Fred Warner, make him a better player this past year. There was this whole legendary talk, and I think he had major influence in that locker room, and a lot of people gravitated towards it. He still got hurt part of the season. His numbers were low considering what they could have been. And I mean, just imagine a healthy and ready to go Kwon Alexander. He and Warner were just stuffing running backs in the backfield, chasing them down. Reminds me of a duo who made it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. I'm not saying they're there yet, but it gives you flashes of hope, and it starts with these two. So it's been exciting to watch. But oh yeah, you're forgetting one guy who's just emerged as another weapon for the 49ers. His name is Dre Greenlaw. Being drafted last year he was like my third, fourth best pick in 2019. And that tells you a lot about the 2019 class that I should probably make a video about because the draft class is John's best work yet. But Greenlaw has been a monster. And yeah, clinching the NFC West for us always helps. Thank you, Dre. In all seriousness, when I look at these three guys as a collective group, which other group in the NFL tops this? I think the Niners' strength is still at defensive line, but you can also argue linebacker group is a close second, very close. That's how much I think this group means to this defense, but also how much more they can improve. They are still relatively young. Dre Greenlaw has a lot to learn, so does Warner. Like I said, Kwon needs to just remain on the field, and the Niners have built the best young linebacker group in all of football. And with that, let's look at the remaining depth chart at linebacker. I think it's similar to last year. The 49ers keep 5 linebackers in their roster, I think, with 3 already taken, of course. I think that leaves 2 roster spots available for the following players. Joe Walker, who the 49ers signed this offseason from Arizona. Mark Nzacha, very good special teams player. Azeez Al-Shaair, I think he got a lot of reps this past year. I really like him. I really like Azeez. Jonas Griffith, who was an undrafted free agent this year. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, I think this is a mistake. The Niners website has him listed as a linebacker, but I could have sworn he plays safety. And then we have Joey Alfieri. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, but Joey. Now I'm going to be honest. I don't know a lot of these guys and their level of play, so I can't really judge them. I mean, off the names that sound familiar, I think we do keep Azeez. I think he makes the team. Again, another special teams player, a guy who can just come in as a backup, knows the system already. I think this is going to be his third year with the Niners, so really like the young man. And then probably my last pick to make the roster would be Mark Nzacha. Again, another guy who's familiar. I think, he's been in the system for a while now. You hope that these guys don't obviously get starting reps, but in terms of flexibility, they could fill in a roster spot in terms of backing up the linebackers. But also, when you're considering these guys here, you have to be able to play special teams, and I think both of them will be able to do that and do it well, as they did last year. So those are my 5 linebackers who make the team. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone else will get cut, because we still have the practice squad to go over, and there is one guy on the list that I really would like to see how he plays if we have a preseason this year, and he is Jonas Griffith. Now, I had to go on a YouTube rabbit hole to find some of this guy's highlights, and let me tell you, he's a freakish dude. He's like 6'4", 250 pounds, looks like a defensive end playing linebacker. That's how big he is. I think he's bigger than D Ford for perspective, but the guy is a very raw talent. I think he's only played like 4 years maybe of organized football, so he's definitely a practice squad nominee. I really do get excited about players who you can see there's upside, but there's just not enough there to make a team. And I think a player like Jonas Griffith is someone that can actually, if linebacker doesn't work out, maybe you throw him at defensive end, see what he does there. So it's a project, to say the least. Jonas Griffith is someone you should definitely keep an eye on to see how he progresses in camp. But I think those 5, like I said, make the team for the 49ers, with my one guy going to the P squad. Let me get your thoughts on this linebacker group. Is this group the best in the NFL? Go ahead and drop your comments below. Thank you all for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.